Today we'll be getting into the latest with Bray Wyatt and his wrestling status. More Roman Reigns related topics, Becky Lynch, and much more. Let's start things off with Becky Lynch and her recent interview. One of the things that Becky touched on was the brand supremacy theme behind WWE's Survivor Series event. Over the last few years, WWE has turned their Survivor Series event into a brand versus brand show, with superstars from Raw and SmackDown competing against each other for what WWE calls brand supremacy. It's great that we get to see Raw and SmackDown collide and see all these matchups that we normally wouldn't see. But the biggest flaw is that nothing really is on the line at these brand supremacy shows besides pointless bragging rights. No matter what brand it is, it literally has zero impact on WWE television. Nothing's at stake. Once the Monday after Survivor Series rolls around, everything that happened at Survivor Series becomes completely irrelevant, and it doesn't matter if Raw won or SmackDown won, because nothing's on the line. There's no weight to it. The winning brand result doesn't mean anything. And another flaw with Survivor Series is that it only happens a few weeks removed from the WWE draft. How are superstars supposed to show brand pride when they literally just got there 2 weeks ago? So that's another issue with the logic of the show as well. It's all about representing your brand, but a majority of these superstars just arrived to their new brand. They're barely getting their foot through the door. That's why the traditional Raw vs SmackDown matches can feel a bit bland because they're not fighting for anything. Think back to Survivor Series 2014's traditional match. That was like a movie. The Authority's reign over WWE was at stake. We saw Sting's debut, and that really was something that stood out as being special. But all these recent traditional Raw vs SmackDown matches have all sort of blended in together over the years. There's an easy solution to all of this, and that's for WWE to just put something or just anything on the line for Survivor Series. Have the winning brand actually earn something. Maybe it's the number one pick in the following year's WWE draft. Have the losing brand actually lose something. Maybe they lose their first round pick. Just anything like that to add some depth and purpose to these brand versus brand events. This was a topic that Becky Lynch recently discussed during an interview with Vincent Bellrant. She had this to say, quote, "The old brand supremacy is a little outdated. At the same time, we're all competitors, so you always want to be the best, whatever it is, whatever carrot they dangle. You always want to be the best, whether it's the winner gets a frickin' banana. It's like, well, I want that frickin' banana. I want to prove that I deserve that banana. You always want to be the best, whatever the logic is. You can make it work when you are a competitive human, which we all are. You don't get to WWE if you're not competitive." End quote. And Becky is right. Whatever they dangle in front of you, that's what you want to have as a competitor. Only problem is that Survivor Series doesn't have anything dangling in front of the winner. It's nice that WWE is adding a bit more of a storyline to some of the champion versus champion matches, such as Big E versus Roman and Charlotte versus Becky. But the traditional Survivor Series matches are the ones left with no story, no purpose, and just nothing at stake. So hopefully that's something that will eventually be addressed. Becky Lynch also discussed her popular broken nose moment in the fall of 2018. Where Nia Jax accidentally punched her right in the nose, completely breaking it. It made for an iconic moment of a bloody nose Becky Lynch standing in the crowd, but it also took Becky out of action for quite a while, canceling her dream match with Ronda Rousey. She had this to say, quote, "So, at the time, I genuinely did not know what was going on. I thought this was it. This was over. But then all of the other pictures came out and it looked pretty freaking cool. And then people got more interested in it. And I was like, okay, well, we're on to something. And so then just kept going, kept trying to ride that momentum until WrestleMania. And of course, you never know if there's going to be another hurdle or if you're going to fall at the last jump. But yeah, we made it there." End quote. So Becky was unaware of what her future would be like following that injury because, like history has shown us, usually if someone gets injured during a push, WWE keeps it moving and goes to someone else. But the broken nose increased her popularity. WWE saw that, so they stuck with her all the way. There's been some new reports and stories that have been coming in on Bray Wyatt. Latest report claims that Bray Wyatt at one point was expected to join AEW, with AEW even preparing for his debut. But those plans allegedly fell through. The report claims that it's unknown why or when those plans fell through. AEW president Tony Khan was asked for another update on Windham, and he had this to say, quote, "I like Windham a lot. We'll see what happens, I haven't talked to him about it ever. About him coming to AEW. The last time I saw Windham was at Chris Jericho's birthday party. It was a pretty late night, and it was last year, so it's a very different world. I only briefly saw him in passing. I was heading out while he was heading in. It was a pretty late night, but I think he's a wonderful person and a really great talent." End quote. Of course, with the new confirmation that Bray Wyatt will be filming his movie in late November, that basically confirms that he'll be out of wrestling for a while. One of the main things these Hollywood contracts always stress is no physical activities, no wrestling or anything like that while filming. Reason for that being injuries. If Bray Wyatt wrestles while in the middle of filming and injures something, it'll obviously delay production of the film, especially if Bray is portraying one of the lead characters in the film. So that's why John Cena, The Rock, and all these other Hollywood WWE guys can't really return to anything physical in the middle of filming. So you would have to assume that the same goes for Bray Wyatt. He's going to be locked down from all of that once production starts. And who knows how long the production of this film will take. It may be on the shorter side, it may be on the longer side. The details right now, obviously, haven't been released to the public, but we'll see how this project goes for Bray Wyatt and if he'll consider a return to the ring. Maybe if this film sees a lot of success, maybe he falls in love with this and films become his new main passion. It's going to be a very interesting time for Bray Wyatt fans, and we can't wait to see what he does next. Roman Reigns stole King Woods' crown recently and had his own crowning moment at the end of SmackDown. Reports claim that everything with the crown was a last-second decision by WWE. Reports claim that Roman, Heyman, and Vince McMahon were all in a creative meeting until late Friday afternoon, and the crowning moment was a result of that meeting. Vince McMahon apparently seems to be on board with the idea of Roman taking the crown. But fans want to know if it's permanent. Is Roman keeping the crown and stealing it for good, or was it just done to close out SmackDown in a big way? That's a very important question that will need to be answered. Was that the end of King Woods' reign, or will he eventually get the crown back? Maybe Big E plays a big role in stepping up to Roman and bringing the crown back to Xavier Woods. Maybe we see something like that play out. A lot of people like the crown on Roman. They think it fits his character. He sees himself as a ruler of WWE. So why not be the king? But Woods barely had the crown for a month, so it's kind of messed up if that was the end of his reign, but we'll see how that plays out. What are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.